No one prepares you for the silence that follows an accident. No one tells you how quickly sympathy can turn into discomfort. No one warns you that sometimes the hardest battle begins at home. And no one explains how a family can break and rebuild at the same time. The story begins with a young man named Ion, once the pride of his household, known for his confidence, independence, and the way relatives admired his future prospects. Before the accident, family gatherings revolved around him, his career plans, his potential marriage, the dreams his parents proudly discussed with neighbors. Then one rainy evening, everything changed. A devastating car accident left him paralyzed from the waist down. The hospital room became the new center of attention. But the energy was different. Where there had once been excitement, there was now uncertainty. His father avoided eye contact, not out of rejection but helplessness. His mother oscillated between fierce protectiveness and silent tears in the kitchen. Extended relatives visited less frequently after the first few weeks. Unsure what to say, inside the house, whispers replaced laughter. At first, the family framed their reactions as concern. They insisted on doing everything for him, feeding him, moving him, speaking on his behalf, unintentionally stripping him of the independence he still possessed. His younger sister felt embarrassed when friends asked questions, not because she didn't love her brother, but because society had taught her to associate disability with tragedy. The home that once symbolized comfort slowly felt like a cage for Ion. He sensed the pity in their tone, the careful way they spoke as though he were fragile glass. The emotional distance hurt more than the physical injury. Conflict emerged quietly. Ion wanted to start physiotherapy aggressively, to explore remote work, to reclaim purpose. His father, fearing further disappointment, discouraged false hope. His mother worried about finances and social perception. What would people say about his marriage prospects now? The tension wasn't born of cruelty. It was born of fear. Fear of judgment. Fear of a changed future. Fear of navigating a world they did not understand. This first phase of the story highlights a crucial awareness message. Disability does not only transform the individual, it challenges the emotional maturity of the entire family system. Families often grieve the old version of their loved one without realizing the person is still there, thinking, feeling, and dreaming. The accident becomes a mirror, exposing hidden insecurities and social conditioning. Instead of immediate acceptance, there is confusion, denial, overprotection, and sometimes shame. But within this emotional storm lies the seed of transformation. The same family that feels broken now stands at a crossroads. Either remain trapped in fear or grow together through understanding. The journey toward acceptance does not begin with society. It begins at home. Change rarely arrives with applause. It begins with uncomfortable conversations. It grows in moments of frustration and truth. And sometimes, healing starts with a single act of defiance. The turning point in Ion's story does not come from an outsider, a doctor, or a motivational speech. It comes from him. One morning, after overhearing his parents discussing whether it would be better to adjust expectations for his future, he calmly asks them to sit down. His voice is steady, but his words carry weight. He tells them he is still the same person, still capable of thinking, earning, loving, and contributing. The accident injured his body, not his ambition. That conversation is uncomfortable. His father initially reacts defensively, interpreting Ion's independence as denial of reality. His mother cries, fearing that pushing too hard might hurt him emotionally. But for the first time since the accident, they speak openly about their fears rather than hiding behind silence. Gradually, the family begins to shift. Instead of doing everything for him, they start asking what he wants help with. His sister attends a disability awareness seminar at her university and returns home with new language and understanding. She realizes her embarrassment was never about her brother. It was about societal stigma. The father, once withdrawn, accompanies Ion to physiotherapy sessions and witnesses his determination firsthand. Watching his son struggle through pain yet refuse to surrender ignites a new kind of pride, quieter but deeper than before. The mother joins an online support group for families of people with spinal cord injuries, discovering that their emotional confusion is not unique. This middle phase of the story emphasizes awareness about internalized stigma and overprotection. Many families believe love means shielding a disabled member from difficulty, but excessive protection can unintentionally limit growth. The narrative carefully shows how good intentions can create invisible barriers. The family learns that accessibility is not just about ramps and wheelchairs, it is about mindset. It is about replacing pity with partnership. There are setbacks. Ayan faces rejection when applying for jobs. A distant relative makes an insensitive comment about what kind of girl would marry him now. Old wounds reopen. But this time, the family responds differently. Instead of silence, his father firmly corrects the relative. His sister posts about disability inclusion on social media. His mother encourages him to keep applying rather than suggesting he settle. The emotional environment at home begins to transform from fragile to resilient. Through this evolution, the audience sees that acceptance is not instant. It is a process of unlearning harmful beliefs. The family's growth becomes just as powerful as Ayan's physical rehabilitation. The story makes it clear, disability awareness starts inside the household. When a family shifts from shame to strength, from fear to faith, they do more than support one person. They challenge an entire culture of misunderstanding. And in that shift, hope quietly takes root. Strength does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers through daily routines. Sometimes it looks like patience, not perfection. And sometimes, the greatest victory is simply belonging again. Months pass, and the transformation within Ayan's home becomes visible not through dramatic gestures, but through small, consistent changes. The house is rearranged to improve accessibility, not as a reminder of limitation, but as a symbol of adaptation. His father installs ramps and modifies the bathroom, working late into the night with quiet determination. His mother stops introducing him to guests with a tone of apology and instead speaks of his new projects with pride. His sister no longer avoids difficult conversations. She confidently corrects people who use insensitive language. What once felt like a house filled with tension slowly becomes a space of collaboration. Ayan, empowered by this renewed support, launches a remote consulting service. Using the skills he developed before the accident, the early days are slow and discouraging, but he persists. His family becomes his first team. His sister helps with branding. His father manages logistics, and his mother celebrates every small milestone as if it were a major award. Their involvement is no longer rooted in fear. It is grounded in belief. The emotional climate shifts from what has been lost to what can still be built. The story's deeper awareness message emerges clearly in this final phase. Inclusion begins with attitude. Society often views disability as an individual burden, but this narrative reframes it as a shared journey of growth. The accident did not just alter Ayan's mobility, it reshaped the emotional intelligence of his entire family. They learned that dignity means allowing independence. They learned that support does not mean control. They learned that acceptance is not passive, it requires courage. There is a defining moment near the end. A family gathering takes place, the first large one since the accident. This time, there are no whispers. When someone asks Ayan about his future plans, he answers confidently about expanding his business. His father listens with visible pride. His mother smiles without tears. His sister stands beside him, not out of obligation, but solidarity. The room feels different because the family feels different. They are no longer surviving the accident. They are evolving because of it. The conclusion avoids unrealistic fairy tale endings. Not every challenge disappears. There are still inaccessible buildings, still moments of exhaustion, still societal prejudice. But the foundation at home is strong, and that strength becomes Ayan's greatest asset. The final takeaway for the audience is powerful and clear. When a family chooses understanding over embarrassment, empowerment over pity, and partnership over protection, they do more than support a disabled member, they redefine what resilience looks like. Disability did not destroy this family. It revealed their capacity to grow.